Hello everyone, welcome to Quarrelsome Rhinoceros Stitches, episode 18. My name is Monica, I'm the host. You can find me as Quarrelsome Rhino on Instagram and as Morux on Ravelry. So, this is a podcast primarily about knitting. I am getting very much into knit design, so my podcast will share some of the things that I'm working on design-wise that are not sort of the hidden designs. I don't... so, and as well as any projects that I've completed in the last couple of weeks. Let's get right into it. I have a couple of things that I do want to talk about before I get to the knit content, as it were. So I am releasing a pattern on October 1st, so this coming Sunday, called the Tempest Shawl pattern. I've been posting about it a lot on Instagram, and I decided that I also wanted to do a giveaway on Instagram. So I am going to, or I posted a picture of it and a giveaway post, and so if you go to my Instagram page, you can find the picture. It has text on it. You can enter to win an advanced copy of the pattern, so I'll send it to you on the 30th of September, a day before I actually release the pattern. I also have a coupon code that I'm going to offer for the first 4 days of the shawl pattern's release. So from the 1st to the 4th of October, you can get the pattern for 15% off using Tempest15 as a coupon code. So if you want to receive that, use Tempest15 when you check out on Ravelry, and that'll give you 15% off. So the giveaway on Instagram ends on Friday the 29th of September. So I will be drawing a winner on Saturday the 30th of September and sending that prize out. So there's that. I'm really excited. I've got the pattern back from the tech editor. I've made all the changes, and now I am just waiting to release it. It's exciting. I do have 2 test knitters right now that are working on the pattern, and I really love how they're working up, and it's just been a really great experience. I am currently knitting 2 other shawls that I want to release as patterns. One of them is going to be a free pattern that's going to be a 1 skein shawl, and the other is, you'll see it when I get to my works in progress. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about before I get into the knit content is that I'm going to be hosting a craft along. So it's going to be a knit or crochet along, and it's going to be excuse me, my glasses are fogging up. It is so warm in Maine right now. I am usually wearing sweaters by now, so I went down to get all of my warm clothes for the winter, and I did not, I haven't worn any of them yet because it has just been so hot outside. Like, I normally don't wear tank tops just by themselves. Normally I put something over them, like a t-shirt or anything, but it is too hot for that today. Anyway, on to the actual thing I was talking about. So, I am hosting a knit-along that So it's going to be a one skein shawl along. And so you can make a crochet or knit shawl. It has to use at least 85, but no more than 115, I think, grams of fingering weight yarn. And it doesn't matter what pattern you use. I have a list of patterns that I really like for one skein shawls. And yeah, so I thought I would do that, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get to my finished objects, and why I'm running that. So that is going to go from October 15th all the way through the end of the year. So it's going to end on December 31st. And then I'll send out a pattern on the 1st of January, excuse me, I'll send out prizes in January. Excuse me. Sorry, that was my dog. His name is Kelsier. He's a little bit nervous about everything, so he's kind of frustrated. Anyway, so yes, so we will have a chatter thread and a finished object thread in the Ravelry group, which you can find by searching Quarrelsome Rhinoceros stitches, but there's also always a link in the down bar down there to the Ravelry group, because that is where I post all of my show notes so that I can magic link things in the show notes. So yeah, so I will be putting up a chatter thread in probably around October 10th, and I'll put up the finished object thread on the 15th when I open the knit along. And there are projects that you can put works in progress, but only works in progress that you've done less than 25% of the work on, because it is just a one skein shawl. It's not like a sweater or anything. I think that's just, I don't know, that's just a fair way to do it, to also allow whips. So yeah, anyway, if you want to participate, obviously go over to the Ravelry group. I will be talking about it a lot more in the future as well. So yeah, that is that information that I wanted to talk to you about. And now let's finally get into the knitting. So I have finished 2 shawls in the last 2 weeks. When you saw this shawl last time, I had just cast it on. So actually, let me just show you the shawl first. So it's finished. This is my Changing Staircases shawl. So this is a pattern by Tristan Molina of Dragon Horde yarn. The yarn I'm using is, or I used, is On the Round in the Cosmic Speckled Rainbow colorway. So the last time you saw the shawl was 2, 3, 4. I had just started this stockinette section when you saw it last. So I had only done a little bit of work, and I finished this 2 days later. So it did not take me long at all. I really, really love how it turned out. It's a nice little scarf. It's gonna be really nice for the fall weather here when it gets cool enough to actually wear knitwear. I'm not going to be able to wear this until it gets cooler though, because it is so hot. Okay. It's hot for Maine anyway. It's been up in 80 degrees Fahrenheit recently, which is just too many degrees right now. Especially when I'm so ready for fall now. We went apple picking. I'll talk more about that at the end. Never mind. Anyway, next. I'm getting so off topic today. So next I have, this has been on the needles since June. I finished my meandering shawl. So here is the meandering shawl. It is a pattern by Stephen West, and I did block it and weave all my ends in and everything. It's a pattern by Stephen West. It is my very first brioche pattern that I ever started. and I'm finally finished with it, and it is so glorious. I love it so much. So, I posted about it on my Instagram when I've posted my sort of final pictures of it. But I think it is a really great pattern, even for a beginner briocher. I don't even know if that's a word. Anyway, somebody who's never done brioche before, I think, can pick this up fairly easily. It is, because you do, there's one kind of basic increase that you do and one kind of basic decrease that you do. And the hardest part for me was honestly this 2-color cast on that you do at the beginning. So honestly, I really do think that it is a very beginner-friendly pattern, and Stephen West, the way that he writes his patterns is so easy to understand. He brings you through step by step on, he writes down what each word means, because, you know, there are some different sort of terminology that you use for brioche knitting than you would use for regular knitting. But he has a very clear description on what to do. I did watch a YouTube video just because I'm more of a visual learner than I am a written learner, but the instructions are very clear. And I also kind of wanted to make sure I was doing it right from the written instructions. So yeah, so here is, let me talk about the yarns that I used. So this purple is from Wonderland Yarns in the Amethyst colorway. It is a wool cashmere blend that I got in the first Fiber Muse Alchemy kit. And this one is Knit Picks Stroll in white. Yeah, so I love both sides. I actually think that I prefer the purple side. But this is very, this color is very similar to my winter coat. And it is going to be a really great shawl to wear in the winter because it is so warm and squishy, and just, it's going to make me so happy when there's snow all over the ground. But yeah, so there is my meandering shawl. I kind of like to wear it a little crooked here sometimes. Anyway, so yeah, so there is that. I'm really, really happy with how it turned out, and there are problems with it. I'm not saying that I did it perfectly. I did make a few mistakes, but as I suspected, and I went into this in the last episode, so you can go there if you want to hear a little more about it. But as I suspected, I'm probably not going to remember where any of those mistakes are. I think it's going to be fine. So yeah, I doubt that in a few months' time I'm going to remember where any of those mistakes are or be able to find them again. And it was a learning process. I had never done anything in brioche before, and I think this will always be a really great reminder of the very first brioche knitting project that I did, that inspired me to design 3 other pieces of brioche accessories, not to go with this, but to release as patterns of my own. And that, I think, is just really special. So I will be, yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about this pattern, about the yarn, about the process. I love it so much, and it took me forever, so I'm going to enjoy it that much more. So those are my 2 finished objects. Now I've got 4 works in progress to share, and then I'll let you go and enjoy your day. Last time I showed you a sock that I was working on. I now have a half-finished object. So I've got a hoe. Here is my Bad Trip vanilla sock. So the yarn is by Old Rusted Chair in the Bad Trip colorway. I really enjoy this colorway. I love all of the colored speckles in it, and it's very saturated. I love it a lot. So I did something different on this sock that I normally do on my vanilla socks, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do it again on other socks, but I kind of did enjoy the process. So I guess we will see. So here is, so I started with a 2x2 rib, which normally I do a 1x1 rib, but I just decided I wanted to do 2x2 this time. I made the leg a lot longer than I normally do. I haven't counted how many rows I did yet. I haven't even cast on the second sock yet, but I haven't counted how many rows I did. I know that I did 56 stitches in the leg, and then I think I stuck with 60 stitches around the foot because it fits my instep a lot better. I did from between these two markers here, I did some increases for the gusset across my instep. I did a German short row heel. I did some decreases again, and I'm back. Oh, you can't really see that stitch marker. This is where I started working on the foot, and this is about the last time that I showed it to you was right here. And then I worked up the foot. I don't really remember what I put these markers in for. I put this marker in for where I started the toe. Now, instead of doing a normal, just decreased toe, I did a German short row toe. I don't know if you can tell. So, let's see. So those are my short rows. Yeah, so I did a German short row toe, and then I Kitchener stitched all the way along the top of the foot. So now I don't have a weird pokey out bit at the top because I'm not very good at making the toes look right, but now they looks perfect. It looks exactly like the rest of the sock. And yeah, and so I Kitchener stitched. I did mess up right there, but I'll just cover that with my hand. There we go. So, excuse me, Kelsey, you're fine. Sorry, baby. It's okay. It's all right. No, you're okay. It's okay. No, it's all right. Anyway, so there is my first bad trip sock. I have not cast on the second one yet, but here is the yarn in the cake. I think because I made the leg a lot longer than normal, I mean, obviously I'm still gonna have enough yarn to finish. Excuse me. Obviously I'm gonna have enough yarn to finish, but I think I'll have less, and but I'll definitely still have enough to still put in my blanket, which I haven't really worked on that much lately. I am using my ChowGoo fixed circular for this. It's a US 2, which is a 2.75 millimeter needle. Anyway, so that is my favored sock needle. So there is that. I'm keeping that in my Knit Picks Jane Austen bag. I don't actually have enough project bags for the projects that I'm working on right now. I need more project bags. Horrible. So the next is a work in progress that you have definitely seen before. And I'm not exactly sure how much progress I've made since you saw it last. So I'm done with the neck increases, so that's something. Except that now it is a bunch more stockinette, like 100 rows more of stockinette. 100, at least. And there are about 200 some odd stitches on my needles right now, and it is just a little bit monotonous, so I only do it when I'm watching something on television. Anyway, so here is the sweater. It is the Old Romance sweater by Joji Locatelli. Let's see if I can put it on. It is way too hot for this. Way too hot for this. Don't pull any stitches off the needles, Monica. Okay. Alright, so let's see if I can stand up a little bit. So, Oop, I'm losing stitches. It's fine, I'll get them again. Okay. So here is where I'm at now. I'm just underneath the bust. If I wanted to make this a shorty kind of cropped sweater, I could stop right now, but I can't. So I've got several more inches to go. I want it to be at least down to my waist. Oop. This is probably not a good way to show this sweater. I probably should have put this on waist yarn before I did this. But yeah, so I'm really, really, really loving how this is turning out. I love the detail of the lace sleeves. I'm just really enjoying this knit, and I really want it to be finished. So I'm really loving this pattern. I have said it before, but the yarn is so incredibly soft, and I just want to have it on all the time. So it is Dingo Dye Works. This shade is called Pinky. This is called Carimbia. Yeah, got it. So just took me a few times, that's all. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to finishing this one up. I think I am going to do this green color as the color for the cuffs on the sleeves. And I haven't decided if I'm gonna do the neckband in that same green, or because I've seen a couple versions of it where the neckband is the same as the contrast color, and I really, really like it, but I don't know if this green is too dark to do that with. I'm not sure. So we'll see. I may still do it in the gray, and I'm definitely gonna do the bottom. There's gonna be, at the bottom there's gonna be some ribbing as well, and I think I am gonna do it in this gray color. So, but I have decided I'm definitely doing the sleeve cuffs in that green, the Carimbia, because it is just gorgeous and it is really soft, and I really want it on my wrists when I'm done, when I'm wearing. All right, so I've got 2 more works in progress to share with you. And one very tiny acquisition. So, first, inspired by the one skein shawl along, I'm using 2 balls, but it's 100 grams. So these are 50 gram balls. They're knit picks. This is the Sprinkle Heather in the Stroll line from Knit Picks. And since they only come in 50 gram balls, I've got to use 2 of them. I did try to use one of my skeins of the Hawthorne kettle dye. I think it's Hawthorne. I can't remember if it's a Hawthorne or not. But it's the it's variegated, and it was not, the pattern wasn't showing up right on it. Anyway, so here is my sort of one skein shawl design. So it's going to be obviously an asymmetrical triangle. It's going to look like this, only way, way bigger. It's got a little bit of lace detailing here, sort of a chevron pattern, and that's going to continue all the way up the edge, and the middle bit is just garter. But yeah, so this is going to be a one skein shawl, and you can make it as big or small as you want. I'm debating whether or not I want to put occasionally an entire row of these chevron pattern. I think that what I want to do actually is the last 12 rows will be chevron pattern all the way across. I haven't really decided yet, but we'll see when I get there. Yeah, so there's that. I started this last night. I had to rip it out like 4 or 5 times in order to get the placement of these chevrons just right, and to decide how I wanted to do the increases. Obviously, it's a little bit different down here, but yeah. So anyway, I'm hoping to get this done very quickly. So I'm really hoping that I can sort of plow through this and get the pattern written up so that I can release it as a free pattern. I may release it as a newsletter sign up pattern. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. But yeah. Yeah, it is, I'm actually knitting it on a size 6 needle, so it's going to be very drapey. I wanted to do it on a fairly large needle because I wanted these holes for the lace to be pretty big. Oh, you can actually see the chevrons a lot better from... Anyway, so yeah, I'm really enjoying that. Yeah, like I said, hopefully I'll have it done here pretty quick so that I can release it as part of the one of the suggested patterns, I guess, for the one skein shawl along. And the other pattern that I'm working on, the yarn that I'm using is from Fuse Fiber Studio and Jaeger Spun. So there's the Jaeger Spun in the Peony colorway. It is way blown out on camera. I don't know, there's no way I'm gonna be able to show you the real color. It is just super blown out. Hopefully I'll be able to get a good photograph of it outside in the sunlight. I do have natural light in here, but I don't know. It is just just super vibrant here on screen. And so that is Jaeger Spun and it's mulberry silk and superwash wool, 100 grams peony. And then Fuse Fiber Studio, there's this, it's a lovely sort of like neutral with pink and bright blue speckles. This one is called Between the Lines, and it's a special colorway done by, so Fuse Fiber Studio is owned by I think she's the sister-in-law of the author Jodi Picoult? I think that's how you say her name. And so Between the Lines is a book by her and actually just got turned into a musical, I believe. And yeah, so she did a special colorway for that, and my grandmother bought it for me. And so now I'm using making it into a shawl. So here is the very beginning. Obviously it's getting really blown out on camera. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to make it not blow out on camera. It's a little bit better, kind of. Okay, so it's an asymmetrical triangle again, and this one is actually gonna obviously have some color work play on it, but it may end up being a mosaic knitting pattern. I'm not really sure. For now, it looks kind of like a beard. Kind of a crooked beard. Anyway, yeah, so there is that. I'm working at this. It's going to probably take me a long time, but I'm really excited with how it's turning out. Right now, I'm using my ChowGoo interchangeable set on a US 5, which is a 3.75 millimeter needle. And I'm really I like the gauziness of this kind of fingering weight on a 3.75 millimeter needle. I think it's gonna have a really nice drape, especially with this yarn having silk content. I think that is gonna be great. The other yarn does have a cashmere content instead of silk. It's not the same, obviously not the same base, which is probably, it's going to be fine. Part of it is just gonna have a little bit more drape than the other part. So those are the things that I'm working on. So they're all sort of big projects. I mean, I have one pair of socks, which is a little weird because I've been on the sock, or at the beginning of the year, I was on a sock knitting kick. I think I've knit 9.5 pairs of socks now, for the whole year. And, but I just feel like I have gotten that shawl knitting. I've been bit by the shawl bug. So, yeah, so I'm gonna be probably working on shawls mostly for the next little while anyway. Excuse me, I am getting over a cold. I got a really bad cold earlier in the week, and it just knocked me straight on my butt for a good 3 or 4 days. And I'm still sort of trying to get over it. I do have one acquisition, a singular acquisition. I spent $2.50 on this yarn, and I'm really excited about it. Anyway, so excuse me, I'm working for a craft store right now. Not for very much longer, but I am right now. So I was looking at their yarn. And it's one of those like big box craft stores. And so I don't normally like to get my yarn from there. I actually really love buying indie dyed yarn. But they also do carry Patton's sock yarn. And it's a fairly good commercial sock yarn that I actually kind of like. And so when they get new colors in, or when they get colors I haven't seen before, I like to go buy them, obviously. So here is the sock yarn that I bought the other day. This one is, it's called the Bramble Stripes colorway. And so it's got these greens, these 2 shades of green. It's got like a white, sort of neutrally shade of black, or like a charcoal gray. And the reason I bought it was because it also has a little bit of purple. I don't know if you can see that. So there's purple. Yeah. So it's definitely has really pretty purples in there. There's also a different shade of like tealy green on the inside. I am super excited to knit with this. I really want to know how it's going to knit up. I really like those sock yarns that will like show you what it looks like knit up already. Obviously it's going to be striped, but I want to see it. So I haven't decided if I'm gonna make this into socks. If I do, they're gonna be shorty socks, and I'm going to have to use a contrasting heel, toe, and cuff, because my foot is really long and I can't get a pair of socks out of a 50 gram ball. Either that, or I go back and buy a second 50 gram ball, hopefully again for $2.50, because that would be amazing. Normally this yarn sells for about $6 American, so because of the employee discount and everything, I got some money off of it. But yeah, so that is the only acquisition I've made. That is the only acquisition I've made in a really long time, and I feel good about it. So but yeah, so that is all of the knitty content that I have for today. If you were only here for that, then I will see you very soon on my next episode. And thank you so much for sitting and spending some of your time with me. And from here on, it's mostly just about my life. So, so I have been, as I said, I've been working at a craft store. The last couple of weeks have been pretty difficult for me. I have sort of come to realize some things about myself that I didn't really put together in my head before, and so I've been doing a lot of like journaling and a lot of I don't want to call it soul searching, but I've been doing a lot of thinking about sort of what the position that I'm in at the moment. So as I've stated previously on the podcast, I cannot attend university again this year. I have financially, I can't do it. I got denied for a loan that I was hoping to get, and I know it's really difficult to get a student loan by yourself. Usually you have to have a cosigner, but I don't have anyone in my life that I can ask to be a cosigner. So I can't go back to college this semester. I have to wait until they will give me in-state tuition and go after that. But we'll see where that goes, where that takes me. I am sort of indecisive about what I want to do about that whole part. But I have spent the last couple of months really interviewing and putting in applications everywhere that I can think of, and I've worked now at this craft store for a good 2 weeks, and I realized that I really don't like corporate business. I've really dreaded going into work, and I remember the same sort of dread feeling that that I had when I worked for a corporate restaurant. Now, there's nothing really wrong with corporate business. I just don't feel like I am making a difference at my work. I don't feel like I'm an individual. I just feel like I'm a, you know, blank face behind a cash register, and it's not personal, and I don't like it. So, and like, I mean, I love all of the people that I work with. They're really nice. They've been really good to me so far. And I don't know, I don't know. So, yeah, anyway, so I started applying to other places that were more local business. I mean, I did get a job at a local business, and I do start there this coming week, so hopefully I will enjoy that. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I'm hoping that it's going to make me feel a lot better than working at the craft store that I've been working at for the last couple of weeks. So that is sort of it's sort of a realization about myself, and kind of a good future path to go on, I guess. And it can serve for the future as well. And maybe someday down the line I won't mind working for corporate business, but right now I really want to work for a locally owned company. Excuse me. But yeah, so that has been my last couple of weeks. We went apple picking the other day, and that was fabulous. I did that right before I went to work on Saturday morning, and we took a whole bunch of pictures, and it was really, really fun. There's this apple orchard out in Levant, which is, it's about 20 minutes from here. And it's a pretty big orchard. They've got a pumpkin patch, and they've got a corn maze, and they've got an apple orchard, and they've got like wildflower picking, and yeah, so it's a pretty big place. They also had goats, and I was super excited to see the goats. Oh man, they were so cute. But yeah, so I don't know, it was really, really fun, and so we took a bunch of pictures, and so there was one point where we were like taking pictures in the corn maze, and we were like kind of pretending to fall out of the stalks, and having my friend's mom take a picture of us pretending to fall, and then I actually fell because I'm such a clumsy person. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and then I've been also painting a piece of art for an auction next month, as a fundraiser for the Discovery Museum, which is the job that I had previously. I'm almost finished with it, and then I can take pictures of it, hopefully, and share them with you on another podcast. But yeah, so that has pretty much been my last couple of weeks. It's been pretty good. I've been doing a lot of pattern writing, which is really good. Hopefully, I made some charts last night. It was really exciting. I really enjoy using Excel to make charts. I don't have any knitting fonts though, so maybe I'll get some knitting fonts, and then hopefully I'll be able to do like more professional looking charts, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I might as well get going now. I've rambled on enough at you today. Thank you so much for watching and stopping by and spending a little bit of your time with me. I really do appreciate it, and I really enjoy creating knitting content videos for you. I hope that I will see you very soon. I will be recording again in 2 weeks, so I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!